Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of a Nerd to the Wise podcast. I'm Nathaniel Hine as always, and joined by me is my childhood best friend and occasional lover, Lewis Hardy.
Hello everyone. It's a pleasure to be here again. I like the lover part.
Thank you, I just thought I'd just slip that in and see if anyone would notice.
Slip one in.
Whoa.
Again.
We're back.
Yeah.
Again for more.
Because you keep asking. And we shall deliver.
Exactly. I mean, I tell you what, I said this in the last episode, that when I grew up I always wanted to be an actor. I did, it was my main thing, but realistically I was too lazy to even take up acting. It's really ridiculous. I always thought,
by God, did you try?
Yeah, I know, I didn't try, but I always wanted to be an actor, and I look back at my life and I had this mindset that someone would just find me and be like, you need to be on telly. I know someone. And then it just take off of me. I didn't try hard at all.
Needless to say, it didn't quite happen.
I mean,
they didn't come knocking.
I mean, what? I went down the YouTube avenue. And
from L&N Productions.
From L&N Productions to Nat and Ollie.
From music videos to kicking a ball into a kennel.
Such
classics. I
thought that someone might have seen these YouTube videos and thought, we can do this with this guy.
God seems damn it.
I never
Andy,
really,
there's a star.
I mean, all I did was lip sync. How can you gain an actor's intent from... But I always wanted to be an actor without having to do anything.
So what you're telling me is you've settled.
No. No, but when you go through and you want to go, and I've always wanted to go down the media outlet of doing something at least. I did journalism at university, yes. Things like that.
And I similarly consumed a lot of media.
Exactly. So you know the media industry from the opposite side.
Spend my time watching TV shows and playing games.
But I then thought, podcasting has come from nowhere in a sense, and now it's huge around the world. But it's because people are always wanting to know things and listen, and there's podcasts out there that are for knowledge only.
People are busy commuting,
yeah,
sticking it on the car instead of radios.
I mean, we do want to go down the video route at some point.
It's funny that you says you want to be an actor. I always said that I've never knew what I wanted to do in life, but the best job that I could think of would be to do voice acting. I would love to be a voice actor. I can't act, which is half the problem.
I mean,
the other bit I've got is a voice.
I think you could act.
Thanks, man.
I think if you were put in that situation where you had to get, it's different, but I mean, there's different kind of acting.
Act, Gary. Act.
I mean, I could.
Dirk Allah.
I mean, I'm
Team America reference.
Thank you, South Park.
Yep.
I just think we want to go down the media outlet at some point in terms of video. We do. It's on our list, but it's about what we do with ourselves that way. Because when you see a lot of YouTubers and things like that, you're in the mindset of, do you want to go down the comedic route where it's scripted acting, like you Smosh, or do you want to go just be two guys that talk, not podcast way, but review things, try things, do weird things in terms of...
Two guys, one cup.
Well, oh yeah. But you could do which could we do a blind taste test on Coca-Cola or lemonade? But then that kind of stuff gets views. But we're not here for the views. We're here to do what we enjoy. So we're still trying to discover what we think is our best outlet.
Yeah. When
we go that way, because we will go that way.
So all you guys and gals can see
Prepare
our
yourself.
Beautiful faces.
Prepare yourself for what's going to be.
Good God.
At some point. But that's it. And then I think I always said more recently that a podcast is a lot of a cheaper way to start yourself.
Realistically, one thing we are, and that's cheap.
Well, I mean, what have we had to buy for this? 2 microphones, 2 headphones, and download some software that was free. There's not a lot of
there's not a lot of expense.
But when you start looking at, if you want to go down the video route first, you need a camera, you need the video editing software that's top notch. That costs money. The camera just can't be a basic one. It needs good sound. And then if you're going to do stuff like try all these different things, you need money to buy all that kind of stuff. But the plan is to go in that route at some point.
Yeah.
But that will never stop the podcast because media is always happening. I mean, the way I see the podcast structure going is having it very television show-esque. We do so many, and then we take a break for a few months.
That's season 1 done.
Yeah, and then we get back together, and then we do the next lot, because in the months gap, it gives time for more shows to happen, more films to come out, more news to break, more games to come out, and it also gives us a couple of months not only to just think about our next avenue and think of the video section.
Yeah, 100%.
Because if you think that we both work 5 to 7 days a week.
I've just come off doing a 10-day stretch.
Exactly. Like then now you finally got some time off. You don't always want your time off to be this. Realistically, I mean, it's good for us, but you have a life outside of work and here, because this is essentially a hobby.
Yeah.
But if you want to make something of it, you have to act like it is a job in a sense.
You got to be committed.
And like we're both very busy workers. So when we get that we might take 2 months off recording. That's not going to end this. It means how the hell do we go into the video route?
It's a lot to figure out.
Yeah.
What we want to do, where we want to go.
We're getting there. This is a good start. I think this has been a good start for us, this podcast.
Gaming videos or skits.
Yeah, no, exactly, yeah. Because we're both very good gamers in a sense.
Yes.
We're both very natural when around each other, so it makes it a lot more free-flowing. It's just what's best for our chemistry. Is it a bit of everything? Do we try acting, gaming videos, and just talking videos where we're just reviewing stuff, or we ordered 60 pizzas from 60 different places, which one's the best? Who does the best pizza in Yorkshire kind of thing?
We do a lot of reviews on the podcast, but we could easily just as well do video reviews and put them on YouTube.
Exactly.
For literally just certain things, like we did Thunder Force last week.
Yeah.
But we could just do a YouTube video of right, Thunder Force review. That's it. Start to finish, done.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to figure out, is what works best for us. Is it a bit of everything? Do you say, 1 week, are we going to sample a bit of everything and see which is best reviewed by people? Because I know a lot of people who watch YouTube who have no interest in watching gaming videos, but they want to watch two people try every donut on the Dunkin' Donuts menu to find out which one's the best.
Mm-hmm. My favourite channel is Game Grumps.
Of course, yeah.
I've seen them live. They're awesome.
Did you take Ross to that?
I took Ross.
You did take Ross, yeah.
I would have took you, but I don't think you've ever watched them.
No. But it doesn't mean I don't like gaming videos, because I really like Smosh games.
Yeah, you're a big Smosh fan.
I'm a big Smosh fan.
They're two different avenues. Well, not the Smosh games part, but the Smosh in skits.
In general, yeah.
So yeah, or maybe we'll be like eating hot wings and interviewing like my mother and
exactly. But I mean, the brilliant thing.
Crack a few beers and call it cold ones.
I mean, well, yeah, that's a good shout. I mean, like
copyright trademark.
You can't have that hot ones now. It's ours. But you look at that, and there's no when you want to create a TV show or a film, you have to go and get approved by a TV channel or a film company and get the funding, etc. And it's a big long process. With YouTube, you can create whatever you want and make it your own.
Absolutely.
As long as it's not a trademarked idea. Like, we can't have chicken wings and interview celebrities and then call it, something different.
Yeah.
Because it's already been done, it's copyrighted. But when you have no one to tell you that's not a good idea, or we don't think it'll work, let the people make the decision. That's why YouTube is so good. I reckon if Hot Ones went to CBS or ABC in America and said, this is a TV show I've got, I'm going to interview people while eating hot wings and ask them questions.
They might laugh you out.
They might have gone and said, that's ridiculous. Who the hell's going to watch that?
Yep.
But the guy who makes Hot Ones, the First We Feast owners, the trademark company, are rolling in it. And they go on the Jimmy Fallon show. The guy has his own game show in America now, where the punishment is they eat hot wings afterwards. But if you'd have originally gone to a TV channel and said that, they might have said that is the worst TV channel show ever. But no one knows people fully, what people enjoy.
Well, let's look at Smosh. Just started with two guys in the room
filming on a laptop.
Mortal Kombat music video. Was it Mortal Kombat and Pokemon?
And now they have 2 films and 6 different channels. They have a cartoon channel, they have a Spanish channel, they have games, they have second channel.
So it all just starts with an idea.
I mean, nothing's a bad idea with YouTube. And I think that now is You could look. You said this yourself. I think when we spoke in private or in an earlier episode, is you could click on a video on YouTube and have 10,000 views, and it could be one of the best videos you've ever seen. You click on the next video that's something similar, has 2 million views, and it's nothing comparison in terms of it's a lot crapper.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of channels out there that I really enjoy that they don't get the views they deserve, and then there's a lot of channels out there that I think is actually pretty generic that have huge followings for whatever reason. But
I mean, this is not an insult to anyone, but there is kind of at the same time. I remember when I was doing my kind of market research for the podcast.
Yes.
And I download other film review podcasts or other, gaming ones, or people that talked about Marvel only, or people that just talked about Line of Duty. And I just downloaded a couple, listened to a few. And some of them are like number one in entertainment. And they're terrible. That's not me being big-headed to us, but I think with our chemistry and our full-flowing conversations, it made it more relatable for people to listen to and go, I kind of get that. Some of these are very robotic. You could tell there was a script. Like, we've not written our answers down in front of us. We've written notes to help us remember character names or
top
actors, etc. Like I don't come in here with 6-7 pages of notes and say this is the script.
No.
I mean, this intro wasn't meant to get this long.
No, this is just be,
but it has.
Hi, I'm Nat. This is Lewis.
And now look where it's got
to.
But no insult to them, but they're not great, but they're number one every week. But it's because they've got a foundation from somewhere. But I think there's one called the Nerd Soup I listen to. They're not high up in the charts. But they're better than us, and that's what you aspire to be like.
Yeah.
And you think, wow, if we could be like that, we'd be better. How are they not better than the first lot I've watched or listened to? And I think it's about what your fan base already. If you're the first people to do it and you gain all the followers first, but you're not great because someone comes along and betters you, and you're still ahead of them.
Nature of the beast.
Yeah, exactly. It is. I mean, we've joined the podcast game quite late.
Pretty late.
I think when I was doing the market research there's around 1,000 new podcasts start a week.
Wow.
Like worldwide, I'm not just saying in UK. But everyone's always got a new idea that's something they want to talk about. And some people just focus on one aspect. Some people there's a Falcon and Winter Soldier podcast. So someone's created a podcast just for 6 weeks.
Wow.
Someone did a WandaVision podcast. Someone's done a Line of Duty one, like I said earlier. That's only focused on that.
Right.
So every time there's a new TV show or a new whatever, there might be new things. So I think we've got a good outline to start with.
Yeah, I think we both think, obviously, you started this conversation out by saying you want to get into media, acting, and this, that, and the other. I would be more than happy if this was to turn out to be a full-time job. Yeah. That would be 100%. Like ultimate dream. Well, probably, I won't say probably never happen. Could absolutely happen.
You never know of anything.
You never know.
Because you see people's YouTube channels in particular, or people's podcasts, or people's albums. Music industry is a key to fact. This is someone could have 10 or 11 albums out and have a really small following, but it just takes one song to kick off, and then everyone looks at it. YouTubers just takes one video that goes viral, and then they're loved forever. Yep. Podcasts, it takes one episode title that they say, do you know what? This is a really big film. Let's listen to their review. These are great. They share it. Everyone downloads it. People tell it. Listen to previous episodes, and then all of a sudden you've taken off.
Oh, you better believe we're going to the stars.
We're going to Hollywood.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
But yeah, I think I'm really enjoying this. Like, there's not a day where we've recorded. There's not a day where I've had to edit or upload, and I thought, I just don't want to do this today. Yeah. I think, do you know, let's do it.
Admittedly, it's a lot more work for you than it has been for me, because you do all the editing and what have you.
But you have 2 kids, and I don't expect you to... you have a full-time job, a full-time fatherhood, and a house to, not run, but to be a part of.
You've got a kid.
I've got a dog. Yeah. Well, he's like a kid.
But you dress your dog up, man.
But thankfully enough, I've got a partner that will take them kind of reins.
I've never seen a father look into his son's eyes the way that you look into Baxter's eyes.
Well, I do love my dog probably like a son, like I would do if it was a human son. But the dog can sleep for 2 hours and I can edit for 2 hours. That's not an issue. Yeah. You don't really get that with children because they have to go to bed at a certain time, and then you finally got your time to relax.
I was up at 5:10 this morning.
I mean, exactly. I mean, to be fair, I do get up in the night with my dog to take him out for a wee, but
just to bottle feed him.
yeah, but like it doesn't matter to me because at this moment I know that our lives are like that. That it has to be like that. I mean, if it was ever to happen where I do end up having a child, the episodes might have to go to 1 every 2 weeks because then an episode to edit might take longer.
Yeah.
But I could do an episode now in a sitting. You know, I plan on editing. Well, we recorded today on a Sunday. I plan on editing it on the Tuesday. Pretty much the whole day I'll get it done.
Mm-hmm.
That's no issue. I can get it done in the day.
So you're getting faster and faster.
Yeah, and then
do it.
Wednesday I log in and then schedule the uploads, make the YouTube video, schedule the uploads, and then Thursday, Friday I don't have to do anything because it releases automatically. All I do then is just go on the social media and announce it.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot like you said. The first time I did it, the first episode took like 2 or 3 days to edit, and it was horrendous. But an hour.
Just getting used to the software.
Exactly. An hour-long episode could probably take me 2.5 hours to edit.
Yeah.
That's a lot easier. Like, I could finish work on Tuesday at 5:30, and by 9 o'clock I know that the episode's done because I've got, obviously, the dog to let pee and to feed. But
Let him pee.
if I was to sit down properly, I could get it done in 2.5 hours, which is a big change from when it took like 3 days before.
Yeah.
And the scheduling upload, like we've had to pay, you know, monthly to have these kind of perks where I don't have to log in at 5 o'clock on a Friday and click release. I can do it on a Wednesday night, and then Friday all I have to do is just do the social media. The rest is just done by companies doing the uploading for us.
Yeah.
Scheduling the YouTube thing. I don't have to do anything.
That's probably one thing that I never realised is like how much work goes into, you know, like the behind the scenes things with podcasts and uploading, and obviously you're doing all the editing, and never really think about it, or even like the microphones and getting all like the noise reduction and things you don't really think about. A lot of work goes into it.
I mean, I've said this to you pretty much every time we've recorded. I don't think these mics are great.
They don't quite pick up the beautiful bass.
I mean, they pick up too much. Even with the settings we have now, which is a very limited like background noise pickup, if I was to scratch the desk or move the chair, you can hear it. And then when you're in post, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When you're in post, you can't get rid of it, and then you start thinking, this is absolutely awful.
Yeah.
But these are meant to be apparently these mics were worth 3 times what I paid for them, and they were on sale, and they're used by like professional artists. And I'm like, only people like Van Gogh would use this mic and get away with it, because that's the only artist I can see doing it. All right, let's crack on with the actual show.
Let's go. First topic
I want to talk about is Black Adam. So, usual stuff. I scroll through social media, I scroll through Twitter, I Google like news, like gaming news, technology news, entertainment news, etc. When I was scrolling through Instagram, I saw The Rock, obviously, in the gym, buffering the hell up. Not buffering, he wasn't stuck.
He's loading.
He was buffing like crazy, you know, doing what
Would you believe
does.
it? The Rock is in another role.
Shock horror. The Rock has got another film. And he was saying about how they've finished now like pre-production of Black Adam.
Yeah.
And I knew of Black Adam 12 months ago when they first started talking about it, and it being from the DC universe, and he's a very prominent character in those comics.
Oh yeah, a lot of people are excited.
And I've seen a picture of comic Black Adam, and you see The Rock next to it, and I think it's a great fit, straight up. They've gone down the route of to try to make it look as close as possible. Obviously, there's going to be makeup and stuff, but...
And he doesn't need any fake Homelander muscles.
Doesn't need any fake muscles. The first thing I'll say is he is the perfect superhero build.
That dude is all kinds of jacked.
I mean, like, I have tried to stay away from Black Adam. Again, like I say, as everything, which before we watch something, I try to stay away from it because the surprise makes the experience better.
Absolutely.
So, Black Adam I don't know much about.
No, me neither. I know it's got links to Shazam.
Yes.
I think.
I really enjoyed Shazam.
I did. I think
it wasn't as serious as
No. Yeah.
a superhero film should be.
I think people rated it better than I thought it was. I thought it was okay.
I think I gave it at the time like a 7 to 8 out of 10.
I would say a 7's alright, yeah. But
I watched it again.
Marvel just does it better.
Yeah, they do, and that's a hindrance in people's brains, because when you see a superhero movie, you compare it to the best ones you've seen. DC have made good superhero films.
Absolutely.
In terms of Dark Knight.
Yeah.
The Joker standalone film.
With Joaquin Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah.
He could have been on the actors list.
He could have been on our actors list from the previous episode.
From last week.
But that's what I mean is DC do DC do great films occasionally.
Yeah.
It is a very
it's a mixed bag.
Spin the wheel.
Hit and miss, isn't it?
Spin the wheel, and if it lands, it might work.
Yeah.
So Shazam, previously, before Shazam came out, there was a bad excrement of DC media released.
Think what's that word he's going to say? Excrement.
So you had Suicide Squad 1, you had like Swamp Thing TV show on Amazon Prime.
Did that come out?
Yeah, it's out.
I never
You've
even
got
watched
like
it. It wasn't on my radar at all.
Titans, which I actually enjoyed, but a lot of people gave it bad reviews. Just, you know, when they've come from the Dark Knight trilogy, and
being said, Man of Steel was brilliant.
Yeah, but I also don't think when they all joined together, Justice League was that great.
No, it was actually awful.
Batman vs Superman.
Have you seen the Snyder Cut?
No, I haven't.
I think that's like 4 or 5 hours long.
Well, the Snyder Cut's have you seen about the Endgame Russo Brothers cut? They released the Snyder Cut, didn't they? And then the Russo Brothers said we're going to release our version, but Endgame will now be 6 hours long with that release.
Really? Huh.
They said it'll be 6 hours if they release that.
I thought
version.
the whole point of the Snyder Cut was like a different director took over.
No, it was to give more of the same.
No,
but different.
I'm sure a different director took over because I'm sure that he had some family issues that he had to he left production and someone else took over and then made his version of the film.
Yes.
The film came out, didn't do very well, so then Snyder was like, my original vision was so much better, let me do that.
No, that's in the Snyder Cut. No, it is longer as well, though. Yeah. There is more entities to it. The script's extended, and the Russo brothers came out and said, well, if you release that, we're going to release
anything you can do, I can do.
And they also want to do that to then go back to being number one in the all-time revenue, because obviously Avatar re-released in China, then took back over the number one spot in the box office earlier this year. So Marvel's Revenge we're going to release the Russo brothers cut, which will be 6 hours long. So
is it actually happening then?
They're in talks about. I think they're trying to think about how it's possible to have a 6 hour film released. Because do you want to go to the cinema for 6 hours?
No, I do not.
No, you want to be able to be at home and maybe split.
I don't think I want to watch a film for 6 hours. To be honest, I don't think I've got that big of an attention span.
So the end game is what, 3 hours, 2 minutes?
Well, that's very specific, but yeah, around.
I think it's 3 hours, 2 minutes. Nerd alert. I think it's 3 hours, 2 minutes.
I believe it.
So if they were to release a Russo cut in the cinemas, what's the max time you'd go and watch for? 4 hours? Would you say, just give me another hour of marvelly goodness?
Maybe, but I don't know.
Because when Endgame ended and the 3 hours had finished, I didn't think 3 hours had gone by.
No.
In life.
No, because I was enjoying every minute of it.
Exactly.
So, could I do another hour? Yeah, maybe. But then you got to think about the pace of the film. If there's another hour, does that mean just unnecessarily things get dragged out and then it starts feeling long and you get burnt out and fatigued and thinking, all right, let's just move along. This bit isn't necessarily too important. But then with something like Endgame, where there's that many different characters, it probably, would give certain characters longer time to shine, like we talked about with Wanda and Vision, and how they didn't really get the screen time that they needed. Maybe it would just flesh out these, other characters and give them bigger parts. So yeah, it probably could work for things like Endgame with such a massive cast. But yeah, Marvel killing it. DC.
Anyway, back to DC and Black Adam. So
off the tangent.
For me, after the Dark Knight trilogy, DC have very much struggled to release a great film. And when they don't do well, they panic and they just recast. That's their option, is they blame the actor, not the script.
Nope.
Or not
do it again.
Not the writers, not the director, they blame the actor.
Yeah.
Well, obviously he wasn't the right Superman, so we'll get a new Superman. He's not the right, Flash, let's get a new Flash in or whatever. You know what I mean? You just think, well, let's not.
Get a new Batman.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to work that way, and they need a win. Shazam was a minor win because it hit the whole family. Kids loved Shazam. Adults kind of enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. A lot of people did. It got fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. It was given a good reviews.
Yes.
And it was a minor win, but they need another big win. They're hoping to do that with the second Suicide
Wonder Woman
Squad.
was a big win.
But the second one too. Not
big
a big
flop.
win. Yeah.
Everyone hated it. I have never even seen it.
I have.
I haven't seen it purely based on other people's reviews on it, and it's put me off watching it.
I have seen it, and when you look at Wonder Woman 1, it is a solid 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
And I remember coming out of the cinema and thinking, all right,
damn,
DC's back. And then they did Justice League, and I was like, maybe it's not back.
Here we go again.
Yeah. And then they released Wonder Woman 2, and I thought, finally, we're going to get a repeat of this Wonder Woman 1. Yeah. And it wasn't. And and I'd give it a 5.
Then Aquaman, really good.
But then you've got an Aquaman 2 coming out, and then I started sitting on the fence and thinking, are we going to get vibes of Wonder Woman 2? Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're hoping for a big win with Aquaman 2. They're hoping for a big win with Suicide Squad 2. And they're really hoping for a big win for Black Adam because they've taken a year to get pre-production done. So they've taken a lot of time to try get the casting right, the script, the locations. I know the pandemic's not helped it, but there's a lot of films that have already started and pre-production 6 months ago. So they've taken a long time with it.
And they've released a teaser.
Yep.
But obviously because they've just started, there's no actual footage.
Yeah.
It's just Rock, Dwayne Johnson doing a voiceover of comic book style for pictures.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
What do you think to that?
I mean, it's not enough to whet the appetite, ideally.
Intriguing.
It's just a teaser.
Right.
It is what it says on the tin. It's teasing me to say The Rock is going to be Black Adam. That's all it really says to me.
Pretty much.
I mean, I'm excited, but mainly because The Rock's in it. And when I mentioned my top 5 actors previously, The Rock's in there, so I think it can't be bad. It can be, of course, but it can't be bad. I mean, I just hope. There's hope in this. This is the thing. It's the hope that kills you. That's the saying. Is if we're still in a pandemic world where cinemas are closing and you have to pay at home to watch a film, I'm going to pay for this film, but I'm paying for it for the hope that The Rock makes it a good superhero film.
Yeah.
It's the hope that will kill you.
Do we know who's doing the direction or anything like that?
I think some certain things have been released, but they've tried to keep as much under the hat as possible. I mean,
in that case, I think my overall view of it all is just apprehension. Because of the track record with the films, how hit and miss they are. They do have The Rock, which is a good call, is a good fit, he looks the part. But then, for me, he's not the most stellar actor of all time that can make any role, better. He can take a film from average ratings to, I don't like the look of Nat's face just then.
Just researched the director. He's a gentleman called, I'm assuming he's from...
he looked like he just chewed a lemon.
He's from Spain. Yeah,
no.
That doesn't mean he's bad straight away.
No.
He's called Joan Collet Serra, right?
Okay.
His previous films, he's only done 10 films in his career as a director. One of which is Goal 2, which is the football film set when a guy from Newcastle goes to Real Madrid and meets David Beckham. He was the director on that. A film called Orphan. I think the most recent one you'll have seen is The Commuter, where it is Liam Neeson gets the train throughout. He goes to work every day, and then he gets the call saying someone on this train's going to die.
That was all right.
But did you think the direction was good? He's the director of that film. And then most recently he did Jungle Cruise, which was The Rock again and Emily Blunt. Disney owned Jungle Cruise, Rock and Emily Blunt. Features Jack Whitehall as well. It's a very Disney film. It's a jungle cruise. They're going through the jungle on a cruise and mysterious
things. Not to be confused with Jumanji.
He directed that. So he's worked with The Rock before. Does that give him enough notion to become the director of Black Adam? Probably.
His credentials
don't scream, I know that business.
No. Not when he's done them style of... He hasn't done them style of films before.
Not when you see that Suicide Squad brought in James Gunn
Yeah.
from a rival company.
Big hitter.
Yeah. You know, you think that you had the right... He might be the best thing for the job, and I don't want to, you know...
Yeah, I mean, it's
shade
hard
him
to say at
already.
this point. Like I said before, I don't know a great deal of the history of Black Adam or anything like that, or who he's involved with. I know he's got some sort of link to Shazam. I think I'm only thinking that because of the lightning bolt.
No, he does have... I think they're related in
Maybe
terms
have the
of...
same powers.
I think they're related as like ancient Greek god cousins or something ridiculous like that from the ancient... You know, in Shazam where it's like temple,
Yeah,
the original Shazam's in there. I believe, from my knowledge of the research I have done previously, is that in that ancient time when it was a full-flowing like area where people would go, etc., these were ancient god cousins or something.
Right.
And Black Adam might have appeared to have been non-existent at that time or disappeared, and this is his like rebirth.
I don't know why, but I always thought Black Adam was like a villain. I guess he's a hero.
He's an anti-hero. I
Is he?
think, yes.
I think he.
I think his intentions are not what most heroes are.
He'll do
wrong to do right.
He'll snap a neck to save someone.
Yeah, exactly, which isn't always the bad thing. But it's in
Superman.
real life, don't do that.
Superman did that.
But I'm excited, mainly because of the actor, and that's it. I think as time goes on and filming starts and they get to a teaser trailer and they get to an actual trailer and time goes on, I might be sitting here in 12 months' time and say, it's due out in 3 months, it's going to be the next best superhero film.
I think the fact that it's a superhero film and I like superhero films so much, that being said, Thunder Force was also a superhero film.
Jesus.
Yeah, but you know, it's DC. They've shown that they can do great films. Like I said, The Rock's in it. It could set something great up. Linking him with Shazam and that whole thing with Justice League, maybe. I don't know. So yeah, I'm excited to see it.
From what you've seen, which isn't a lot because they've rarely released anything.
No.
Excitement level?
6, 7.
I'd go with a 7. Yeah, I'd go with a 7.
Yeah.
So also, while I was scrolling through all this random stuff across the internet, I saw that Indiana Jones 5 had been agreed when Disney released their next phase of everything. Yeah. Obviously, they own
everything.
LucasArts, and LucasArts made not only just Star Wars, but they also made Indiana Jones. And they agreed there was going to be another one. A lot of the rumours went round and said that they were going to recast Indiana Jones at that point, or they were going to hire a female Indiana Jones. And then our good old friend, I can't remember who plays, Harrison Ford came out and said, he basically went on an interview and said, I am Indiana Jones. You cannot do a film without me. So now obviously everyone's saying it's him again.
Right.
He's back he calls it his last, but he also calls it Indiana Jones 4 his last.
And everyone was hoping.
And he was too old. He
was
too old for it. 15 years ago, 20 years ago when the last one came out, and it was terrible. I mean, it had Shia LaBeouf in.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, that's what I call him. I'm from Yorkshire, Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, he's in it. He was in it, and he was okay. And at the end, I tried to scramble that film from my memory, but I remember it being a very Indiana Jones style film. Gotta get this and grab that, roll under them. Look out for them things; they're gonna hurt us. There's quicksand, and then at the end, some aliens take off, and I was like,
"What?
This is fucking bullshit! Like, what the hell? This is not Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones are the fucking
This took
Martians."
180 turn.
Yeah, and I thought that, and a lot of people said, the Star Wars episode where they say they're, having sex with Indiana Jones in front of everyone, they're destroying him in front of everyone. Have you seen that episode?
No.
Where it's LucasArts, the guy, what's he called? I can't remember his name. George Lucas, and like some high-up television producer is forcing Indiana Jones to have sex with them on screen. And everyone's like, you're destroying Indiana Jones. Obviously, the joke is that they actually have destroyed Indiana Jones, but they think about it as they've like forced themselves upon him.
Well, at this point, what do you do with Indy? So the fourth one came out, huge flop. No one liked it. Well, no real fan of Indiana Jones liked it.
Yeah.
Do you leave it dead and buried, just leave it at that. Or try for another one, get a bit of redemption.
But do you do that when your lead actor is late 70s, early 80s?
103.
I mean, like, he didn't even do his own running scenes in film 4.
Well, you got to watch out for that hip, man.
I know, but he's going to have to be doing some... He can't just be sat in a chair whipping things for an hour and a half. I'm trying to get my applesauce. And I'm trying to whip his applesauce to all.
Damn it, it's smashed on the floor.
So, the original question I have is, do you think we need an Indy 5? I know your answer would be, we don't even need an Indy 4, but do you think we need an Indy 5?
No, we do not need an Indy 5. I'm curious, if they do a good job with it, then yeah, I would say it was necessary. But the longer time goes on, and if it is Harrison Ford, the less likely it's looking to be a good film, unless they change it up like how they did with. See, he's getting too old. I'm going to say like Hugh Jackman with Logan, playing an older character, more grittier, and I don't think that's going to work with Indy. And the age he is, like I say, he won't be able to do any of the stunts, or I think it's just going to be a big CGI fest.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be stacked against them the more that time goes on. Now, whether maybe they could do like a prequel and recast the actor, I don't know. Obviously, you mentioned having a female character. What a terrible idea that would be. I don't know about your opinion.
She's called Lara Croft.
I thought it was Uncharted. No?
Uncharted is based on
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Hollywood have tried recasting male characters as females. Ghostbusters is the one that comes. Paul Rudd is going to be fantastic in the next Ghostbusters, may I add. Well, I mean, he's a fantastic guy.
I mean, the trailer for the new Ghostbusters does look phenomenal.
Yeah, man. Looks well good.
It does. It really does. Like, I can't go
And
back.
we both know that you've imagined Paul Rudd covered in ectoplasm.
What a dream.
There was talks about doing like James Bond as a female. They tried to do their own Oceans film.
Yes, they did.
All
With Sandra Bullock.
females.
Yeah.
That was a huge flop. That Ghostbuster was a huge flop.
Was that Melissa McCartney?
Yes, it was. Ain't she great?
Yeah, top 5 actress.
Awesome.
But so yeah.
Sorry, Melissa, if you're listening.
So I probably agree with you. The only way Indiana Jones 5, if the next Indiana Jones film can work, is if it's a prequel. Because you could get someone like a Tom Holland in, just an example, young fit man who you could get away with pretending to be a 20-year-old Indiana Jones, just discovering his way to be.
When Indy started, he was well into his 30s, 40s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you could get away with being 20 years prior.
How we all started out.
Yeah, exactly. So, but if it is going to be a 5 and it's 5th in the order,
and
are you excited?
Indy's now rolling around tombs in his wheelchair.
Yeah.
Like, damn it, I got stuck on a rock again.
Yeah. I mean,
damn these stalactites.
I mean, I just can't see it working.
No. I'm not excited for it. I would watch it, but my excitement level would be about a 5 or a 6 for this one. Too much apprehension.
I'd have to go in the 4-5 range, mainly because I enjoyed, as most film fans do, 1 to 3.
Yep.
And I could watch them at any time. If they were on television and I wasn't having anything planned to watch, I could put them on and get through. But when I went to the cinema to watch 4, and like I said at the end, just a fucking spaceship takes off.
It's like,
I was like, what is this? This isn't Indiana Jones. And whoever has decided this is the route to go is a moron.
No, I mean, they did introduce some mystical elements in the other films, but nothing like that.
I mean, you've got
curses and things.
Yeah. See, that's more believable. Tombs that you pull a rock out of and it drops, and you take the bag off and things like that. It's more believable because
the dude has his face melted off.
Yeah, I get it, but it's not space. It's not aliens. It's not. Indiana Jones is a very sandy. When I think of it, you think of tombs and sand and Egypt and all that kind of thing. Not galaxy far, far away. You don't think of that.
Maybe that's where the next one's going to take place.
I mean, like, if they carry on the space theme, it really ruins the whole story concept.
Yeah.
It's like saying you've got a film set in space, so Independence Day or Men in Black, and then the whole film's just set in an office for an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Makes no sense. It doesn't follow the dialogue of what it's about.
No. It's a terrible choice.
Exactly. And then going from, Tombs and Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then going, right, someone's going to take off. Someone's going to take off into space. It makes no sense. So for me, I don't think we need Indiana Jones 5. It's Lucas and Marvel trying to drain the most out of it because, as we always say when we talk about Disney, they own pretty much everything in the media world.
And it's the Wide Podcast, sponsored by Disney.
If they were to recast for a young Indiana Jones, do you know anyone who, to your mind, would suit that role? Or if they were to carry on as 5, but recast for him at that age, is there anyone that you could see doing that as well?
Well, I actually haven't thought about this one too much at all. The first person that came to my head when you said that, funnily enough, was Paul Rudd. No, it wasn't.
I wish.
Maybe someone like Hugh Jackman.
I was thinking Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman could do the job.
I think Hugh Jackman could be a good Indiana Jones. I mean, he is a great actor to start with, but he just kind of have that kind of Indiana Jones feel about him. Yeah. If you put a fedora on him and got him a whip, not fedora, I'll call it a cowboy hat, not fedora. He's not going to dance.
Fez.
Yeah, you put a fez on him, he's Moroccan. Yeah? You can see him playing a Moroccan.
Yeah.
But I could see that.
Just have a bit of stubble on him. Yeah.
And then I think if you played a young one, you could go Tom Holland.
I do just think of Tom Holland, obviously.
Because of Uncharted. Yeah, I know, but that's what's stuck in my head. But I can't think of any actors who are that age who remind me of Tom Holland because it's that kind of build. He's a muscly young kid who's very athletic. You need that. There's probably loads of actors out there that I've not noticed.
Yeah, maybe like Andrew Garfield, but maybe
Andrew Garfield could do it.
Yeah.
But then is he too old to play a young Indiana Jones?
Maybe. He's quite young looking.
He's still very young looking. No, you're right.
But, yeah. I'd say Hugh Jackman. He could do it.
Okay, I'd go with that.
Is it confirmed that Harrison Ford is actually doing it? Or has he just said...
he's just said
Is he saying, like, no one can do it like I can?
No, well, he said, I am Indiana Jones.
Yeah, but
he's very Heisenberg response.
I am the one who knocks.
He always said, even after 4 came out, he had one more in him. He was like, I've got one more in me. Yeah, I've got one more in me. And I saw a video of him on Graham Norton when he was like, if they said like, he was doing the promo for the Star Wars films and he said, would you ever be Han Solo again, even though your character's died? Like if they brought him back in like a flashback or whatever, and he was like, no. Like I have no interest. Han Solo is dead to me. And they said, well, what about Indiana Jones? And he was like, I've still got one more Indiana Jones in me.
He didn't even want to do the Star Wars film, did he?
He had to be paid big bucks to get back.
Yeah, he didn't want to do it.
And he was like,
you better kill me.
Yeah, like
spoilers.
And people would say like, oh, if they came back as a ghost, like like they do in Star Wars, and they come back as the spirit.
Yeah.
Would you do that? And he was like, no.
God,
He's
no.
done to me.
Yeah.
And then he gets asked the question, would you do Indiana Jones again? He's like, yeah, but that's surely more strenuous work than
I would say so.
Holding a lightsaber. Not even holding that. He holds a gun and talking to a giant teddy bear. Like, you don't. I see Indiana Jones as a more stressful job for a person of that age.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Right, we'll move swiftly on.
Yeah, I don't really have anything.
I know, yeah. I feel like we'll know more as time goes on and they release everything.
Yeah.
I mean...
I thought him saying, I am indie, no one else can be indie. I thought that he was just making a statement that no one can do it quite like he can.
No, he's doing a statement that's like, if you're doing it again, it's me.
Right. Well,
which is either he's trapped of cash now or he just genuinely wants to be that role more. But I think he is in his 80s, he's got to be at least late 70s. I can't say anything other than that.
Harrison Ford.
He's Googling it. That's what it is. He's not just repeating everything.
He's, 78.
Yeah, so it was not far. I said late 70s.
Oh, no.
So I can't see him being good in that role again.
He's an 80-year-old man. Oh, no.
I mean, he did a film not long ago Like, was it Blade again? Did he do a remake of Blade or something? I can't really remember.
What, like
No.
Wesley Snipes' Blade?
No, not Wesley Snipes.
Oh, Blade Runner.
Blade Runner, yeah. Not Blade, yeah, no. But he did that. He did like the modern version of that, and he was awful in it. He couldn't run. Yeah, he tried to run in it, and he was like jogging on the spot and like being overtaken by objects that didn't move. Like, so yeah, I can't see it working. Sorry, Harrison Ford. I'm a big fan of you, and I have been since I was a kid, like watching Star Wars and Indiana Jones. But it's just not going to work for me.
No, sorry, Indy.
So let's move on to our top 5. Top 5 gaming characters.
I don't know if I've said this before.
I've struggled with this.
This was really hard.
Yeah.
And now I'll tell you why I struggled. So when you think of characters in games, right?
Mm-hmm.
First thing I think of is the games I really enjoyed. Now, what I found is like a lot of these games, my character wasn't necessarily a character.
Yes.
So like my favorite game in series is Zelda, Legend of Zelda.
Yep.
The character is Link.
But it's not the same Link every time.
No, but there's not really much character to Link. Link doesn't talk. It was only in Breath of the Wild that you actually could see the actions he was doing and facial expressions, reactions, things like that. Oh god,
yes, yeah.
So as a character, Link is pretty much non-existent. It's more like you are Link, if that makes sense.
Yes, no, you make that character who they are.
Yeah. And like other things like Oblivion and Skyrim, yeah, they're some of my favourite games. However,
but you make that character.
My character doesn't say anything necessarily. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the character of Skyrim is not my favourite character because it is non-existent. There is no character there.
So when I try to think of this, I try to think about games that maybe moulded me as a person, as I grew up enjoying video games.
Now, is it the character or the game?
Well, it's a bit of both because you think, well, the character made the game in a sense.
Okay, so like when we're talking about Mario, for example.
Yeah.
What is the character of Mario?
He's an Italian plumber.
Does it ever come across in his games?
Yeah, I've seen him with a wrench.
Have you?
Yes.
Where?
In the game.
Have you?
Yeah.
I haven't.
Well, you've not played it right then, have you?
So what I'm saying is, like, obviously Mario rarely talks. His motivation is, I need to save Peach.
He wants to get that ass. Like...
my man Mario.
No, he knows.
With his little mushroom tip. Anyway. And obviously characters like Sonic or whatever else. But there's not much character there. Obviously the games are great.
The thing is, though, people say they are fans of Mario the character. They might, I don't know why, but they are.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I found this very, very hard.
So did I, in all fairness.
And I even...
I feel like I know some of yours. I could probably just say a few names and I'd be like, they're on your list. But I won't say them. I'll let you say them. But if you say them, I'll be like, yes.
Okay. You go ahead then.
So my number 5...
Number 5.
...is probably relevant to you now. Cloud Strife.
Huh.
So...
Yes.
Growing up, Final Fantasy 7, 8 and 9 on the PlayStation 1 were my favourite games on the PlayStation. A lot of people, like my age, loved Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, whatever, Lara Croft.
And I never owned a PS1, so I never actually played any of those games.
But I always want and same with my dad, he wanted me to get the most out of my gaming catalogue. And 7, 8 and 9 were 4 discs long.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you knew the game was going to be
700 hours.
Fruitful. You were going to get your time out of whatever you spent on it.
Absolutely.
And Final Fantasy 7 was the first I played. It's not my favourite out of the 3. Number 8 is my favourite.
I can't believe you don't play the remake.
I know. I don't know.
It was free.
I just feel like I've got it.
All right.
It's downloaded. I just don't want to maybe ruin my nostalgia.
I don't think it would.
I'm not saying it would, but I always have that apprehension. When I replayed the Crash Bandicoot remake, I was like, did I actually enjoy this as a child? Because I think it sucks ass now. And I did. And I didn't enjoy it when I replayed it. That came free as well.
The game is so different. The remake of Final Fantasy VII. Again, I've never played the original. But from what I can gather from the fans, and there is a lot of big hardcore fans,
there is.
they all say
yeah.
number 7 is the best one in the series. They say that this is an amazing take on that game.
So Final Fantasy 7 is my second favourite Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
8's my favourite. I think it's because 8 was the first one I played. Then I went back to 7.
That does
and
make
then
a
I did
difference.
9. And 9 I think is phenomenal as well.
Right.
And a lot of people didn't really like 9. They have remastered number 9 and you can buy it on the PlayStation Store.
Right.
And I was tempted to do the same as that. But again, I didn't want to ruin how much I enjoyed number 9 originally. Cloud Strife, there's not much more I can really say. It's very nostalgic for me. Final Fantasy 7 came out when I was 5, but I don't think I played Final Fantasy 8 until I was like 10.
Mm-hmm.
Then after I finished that, then I went back and played 7. So I was about 12, 13 when I played that game. And probably until the PS2 came out, I'll have played Final Fantasy 7 over and over.
No, I've not played the original, but how much of the character comes across in the original Final Fantasy 7 of like Cloud Strife? Does he speak? Does he ever speak in role? Obviously, in the remake, he speaks a lot.
Yeah, it's not as similar.
Is he not?
No.
No.
I mean, I think when you're building such a big game like that for a very lowly console, it's a lot easier for storage and facility to have it more just written on the screen.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously it's written, but does your character have written dialogue, or is it just people talking to?
It's
an
written
empty
dialogue.
character,
Written dialogue,
like Zelda.
Oh no, it's not like Zelda. No,
because they'll be talking to you and you'll just literally won't say a word.
No. Yeah,
okay.
It's not like that.
Yeah.
But again, it's my childhood.
Yeah, man.
In a nutshell. So that's my number 5.
That's totally fair. My number 5 kind of has the same reasoning behind it, although not my childhood, but and I did cheat a little bit because I had to put a slash in there. But I put Marcus Phoenix.
That's what I was going to say.
Bed.
Okay. Bed, I thought Marcus Phoenix when you said you struggled and you had to think.
Yeah.
I know.
Obviously, I've spoken in length about Gears of War already and what it meant to me, and it was the first time getting into multiplayer and the friendships I had, and obviously playing with you and how much I enjoyed that game and the emotions it brought out of me. But I had to put Baird as well because he was the character I would always choose. Obviously, in multiplayer, you could choose whatever character you wanted.
Yes. I
would always choose Baird. I always found he was, really, really funny. Comic relief character, smart ass. Every time he was on screen, I really enjoyed him. He did have his own standalone game, Gears of War Judgment.
Yes.
Which I really, really appreciated because I love Baird. However, it was a terrible game. But yeah, I would say Baird / Marcus Phoenix. Bit of a cheating one. But yeah, that's my number 5.
So I've kind of gone very similar. I put Coltrane.
Ah, yeah.
Mainly because same thing as you is
Comic relief.
Comic relief. But it was a very great character in the gaming series. But same again is if we ever played online together, I was Coltrane.
Yeah, you were.
That was me. I wouldn't want to. Yeah, I didn't want to be anyone else.
No.
I literally didn't want to be anyone else because
you still don't.
I still don't. If I was to go back, I'd still pick Coltrane.
Yeah. Coltrane runs on whole grain.
But that's it though. It's like Gears of War is a serious game.
Yes.
But then the cut-off scenes or his dialogue when you're playing brings a wry smile comes to your face, or you go, you roll your eyes, you just think you're in a serious combat mood, and he's like having a bit of a laugh.
Well, it was Coltrane and Baird were
like their duo as themselves. I
don't know if they were Delta Squad. But they were the comedy relief characters, and they were the team that joined on with Baird and Marcus Phoenix. So yeah, I could have put Coltrane in there as well.
So for me, Coltrane's number 4.
Yeah, good shout, man. My number 4 is Geralt.
Oh yes.
You've never played Witcher?
No, but I know of
Witcher from the Witcher series.
Yes.
Yeah, Geralt is a great character. It's actually a brilliant game. I've only ever played the 3rd game.
Yes.
People say that the first and second game are also brilliant. But yeah, the first game I ever played was the 3rd one. When you listen to Geralt talking, it's very as he's in the series, quite monotone and serious throughout the entire thing. But there's little like nuances in the things that he does say and the way they say. It's really hard to describe, but he can have this comedic side.
Yes.
And I was laughing out loud quite a few times with things he was saying. I think he's a fantastic voice actor, and with a game like The Witcher 3, it's very, very dialogue heavy, which I think would turn a lot of people away from the game. I think it would probably turn someone like you away from the game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you're like with sitting through dialogue.
I can do it. I prefer not to.
You played Mass Effect.
But I played Mass Effect, yeah. And I can't remember if there was another game that I played recently, and it felt like every cutscene was around 20 minutes long, but you get through it because you're interested in the game.
Yes.
I can do it.
Yeah.
It's not my favourite outlay of how a game should be structured, but I get it.
No, and I suppose like these days I'm also that way because
your time is
with such limited time. I don't want to be spending like 10 minutes flicking through dialogue necessarily, especially when it's side content, side stories, side missions that aren't really important.
No, I get that and I agree.
Yeah, I would say Geralt of Rivia, awesome character.
So my number 3 is Trevor Phillips. I really GTA 5.
Yeah.
I really like Trevor Phillips because he's just a psychopath, like weirdo, drug addict. Like he's just a mental.
Very relatable.
Very relatable. Do you know what? I see myself in him.
Yeah,
but like
it's the stains in the underpants.
It is, but I just think he made that game for me.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed GTA 5 as a whole, anyway, and I'm happy that they had 3 very different characters that you played as, and you had 3 very different storylines, and they came together for one ultimate goal at the end. But I really enjoyed that, and for me, it was a great game overall. But the one character that I really enjoyed was Trevor Phillips.
Yeah, man,
he's an absolute nutter, and I just think
funny guy.
Yeah, and he made it for me. So yeah, Trevor Phillips.
Every time you like transferred to him, you obviously switch between characters.
He's laying downing in like a dumpster or something. Yeah.
Every time you went to him, he was doing something hilarious. So yeah, it's a good shout, man.
Also, and again, it's the actor that's made it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I didn't realise that it was
Stephen Ogg.
Yeah, I'd never even heard of him. I saw him on Walking Dead, and I was like, I'm sure that's Trevor. Yeah, great actor, great character.
Yes.
Very funny. My number 3 is a character you don't know. It's called Handsome Jack.
Okay.
Do you know him?
No.
So he's from Borderlands. Borderlands 2.
I have heard of him.
Right.
Now you say the game, I have heard.
He's pretty much like widely regarded as one of the best villains of all time. Because you love to hate him.
Of course. That's what makes a good villain, exactly.
That's what makes a great villain. Obviously, Borderlands is a very comedic game. It's very, very heavy on the humour.
Yes.
Handsome Jack plays into that, throughout the game. What's good, or what some games struggle with, is they don't delve deep into the villain too much. Obviously, you'll follow your hero, the side characters, and then you get little glimpses of the villain basically saying, I'm doing villain things, you need to stop me.
Oh, right, yeah.
Back to the heroes. The way the Borderlands did things is there weren't any cutscenes, right? So the way they got around having dialogue and exposition was, I think they're called like echo casts, basically like a radio. Have you ever played BioShock?
Yes, yeah.
There would be like a little screen in the top corner, and their face would come up and they would start talking to you, but like through radio. So you would have a lot of dialogue from Handsome Jack just while you're playing. So he'd be there shooting people and he'd be there chatting away. But it was the humour that he brought is why I like him so much.
Yeah.
And when it gets into his own motivations for the way he was doing things, like as I always say, the best villains are the ones that you can understand, or that they think they're the hero of their story.
Yes. And
Handsome Jack thinks he's the hero of his story, and he's getting rid of these awful bandits that are just killing and stealing treasure, and that he thinks he's the hero. So that's why Handsome Jack is my number 3. 3.
My number 2 is Nathan Drake. From Uncharted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not played it, so.
I know, yeah. So every time I talk about Uncharted, it's very like.
Still need to get the game from Ross.
Yeah. So,
Hi, Ross.
Come on, Ross.
Come on, where are you, Ross?
But yeah, I really like Nathan Drake. Again, I knew nothing about the Uncharted series until I got the PS4. The remakes were cheaper.
Yeah.
Got them. I got 4 as soon as I could. Played that. You get good insight to his backstory about his brother, his life, his best friend, his hope, his dreams, what he's trying to do with his life. Like, again, you might see him as a bit of a thief. He's looking for treasure, but he believes his treasure is key to him and his life and things like that. And you can see the purpose behind it all, and you feel the emotions that he feels. Obviously, this is also thanks to the great acting and the great production and the great people at Naughty Dog who have made the game that good. But I just like the character, and I would like to be Nathan Drake, and that's when you know you've made a good character, that you want to see yourself in that position as being them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I think you look more like Coltrane than Nathan Drake.
I also agree. I
Yeah.
think maybe I'm a bit musclier than Coltrane, but I'm sure I could make it work.
Yeah. I mean, you always did say that your prison name would be
Black Pudding.
Black Pudding.
Yeah, it would
I always remembered that.
Yeah, also might be my rap name.
I mean, you got different outlets.
Now
that we're doing the podcast.
It could work. I might even change it to my podcast
maybe
name.
go into music. Maybe go into prison. Who knows?
Who knows? I
Who
could
knows
work
what the
with
future
both.
holds?
I could work with both.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess. Can I take a guess?
Yeah.
Snake.
No. But
Is it him from God of War?
yeah, Kratos. So this is a really, really weird one for me, because this is the only God of War game I've ever played.
Yeah.
I think there's been maybe like 5 other games. Now there's been God of War 1, 2 and 3, and then the new one.
Yes.
But I think there's been like sides series.
Yes,
like God of War Ascension and things like that. So I'm jumping into a series that's, well far gone. Yeah, so I'm so surprised that I enjoyed it so much.
That you put him that high up.
Yeah, I put him that high up, that I put the game that high up. Because I don't typically jump into things, this late on and think like, wow, that's blown me away. But God of War, and you still never played it, but
No, I haven't, no.
Jesus Christ, what a great game. Obviously, from what the story tells me and from what I already know of Kratos, he's a murderous rage monster who's just out for revenge
Yes.
for the death of his family, and he's known for butchering gods and ripping heads off and all that.
Yes.
This game takes a whole different approach, and he is a family man of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
So his partner's died, you never get to see her, and he's trying to bring his son up, Atreus. Or no, I'm not going to do spoilers, because you will play the game.
I will play the game.
So he's trying to bring his son up, trying to be a good father, trying to teach him the ways of like survival and fighting, but trying to be mortal and compassionate. All the things that he wasn't. He wants his son to be better. He wants him to be better.
Yes.
So seeing that side of him was really awesome. He's an awesome character. I can't gush about him enough. I think they just did a really, really awesome job. You could see in him like all this rage and ready to burst, but he's put that aside. Needs to be a good father. But when he comes and needs to protect his son, he all comes out and you're playing it and you're thinking, yes, awesome.
That's good.
So he's my number 2. However, it's a bit of a cheat, because I think he might actually be my number 1, but my number 1 is number 1 that's just like an obsession that's got out of control. But I'll come to that.
Would you like to guess my number 1?
Guess your number 1.
Yes.
Do I know it?
Yes.
I don't know if I could guess.
My number 1 character is Joel.
Oh, shit.
From The Last of Us.
Yeah, of course it is. I forgot The Last of Us completely.
So, as I've said before, Last of Us 1 is probably one of my favourite ever games ever. And for me, what made that game was Joel and Joel's character, and he lost his daughter originally in the beginning. You know, in this whole pandemic world, or post-apocalyptic world, he lost his daughter. He had no care for anyone. He was only out for himself. Had to transport this girl from one side of America to the other, and then he just grows his love for this girl and treats him like his own daughter. Sees his own daughter in him, and at the end, risks saving the world to save this girl's life. Controversial, I know, but I would probably do the same in that instance.
It's actually a really funny.
Could you
topic.
risk? Yeah, but could you risk one of your son's lives, knowing that if they did die, they would save the rest of the world? Genuinely.
Do you not think this is actually a really hard topic?
I agree
to talk about.
Yeah.
I spoke to Steph about this. Like, what would you do? Because that parental instinct inside of you obviously wants to protect, the person that you love. However, by protecting that person,
you're also hindering everyone else.
How many other countless innocent children, babies, women, men are you subjecting to cruel and horrific deaths because you've saved this one person? I don't know. Don't know the answer to that.
So for me, I think I could easily just say fuck you to the world and protect my own. But I'm a selfish bastard, so it doesn't really matter. But that's how I see it.
I don't think you would think that if you were seeing the atrocities.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're just wrong, but maybe you're right. But for me,
maybe if you're just wrong,
I just think Joel is that good that
It's a selfish act. Though.
Yes, of course
it's not selfless. It's a very selfish act.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. It's a really tough one. And what I like the most about Last of Us 2 is it does address that. Is that these guys think Joel is a fucking asshole because of what he did.
Yeah.
And he killed the doctors and things that, obviously they were going to do it to Ellie, but he straight up murdered these people.
Team Joel.
Good people.
Team Joel.
And I actually think
that's my number one.
My favourite character from the Last of Us series
is Abby.
It's actually Abby.
Yeah, fucking ridiculous.
It's true though. Because that's what I like. We keep saying about villains, and you think, oh, they're the hero of their story. You think she's the villain throughout the whole thing. And then when you actually get to her side, you're like, oh, this all makes complete sense. And if that was Joel as Abby, and Joel was doing these things, you'd be like, yeah, go Joel. They just killed Ellie. Of course you'd want revenge. It makes sense. Anyway, Team Joel.
Team Joel. Who's your number one then?
Yeah, my number one is... I know you said Snake for my number two.
Yeah.
It isn't Snake, but it probably should be Snake, but it's not Snake. It's Raiden.
Alright, okay, yeah.
Raiden is from Metal Gear Solid. So he was in Metal Gear Solid 2. The game starts out as Snake again, then does like a big twist. Snake dies. Oh my god, what's happening? And then you take over as a guy called Jack, codename Raiden. Snake isn't actually Snake's name, it's a code name.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. So then you play the whole game as Raiden, yeah? People didn't like that choice because everyone loves Snake, and then all of a sudden you're playing as this young, long blonde-haired, quite almost like feminine-looking guy. And that's not what people want. They want to play Snake, the main character, which I guess makes sense.
Yeah.
The next time you see him, I'm going to fast forward because Metal Gear Solid is a really, really complicated, huge story that I couldn't cover in 4 hours.
Yes, of course, yeah.
Fast forward on to Metal Gear Solid 4, he ends up having his body operated on and changed, and he's been enhanced with cybernetics, and he's basically a robot at this point. What are they called? Androids?
Androids,
Robots?
yeah.
He's basically most robot metal parts. And in the world of Metal Gear Solid, which is like stealthy action, very like realistically done to an extent, then Raiden comes in and he starts just kicking all kinds of ass. And the cyborg ninja. What could be cooler than a cyborg ninja, man?
True.
When I'm watching these cutscenes and things he's doing, I was just like, oh my god, right? And then I played Metal Gear Solid Revengeance, a whole game about the cybernetic ninja Raiden.
Yeah.
Because Metal Gear Solid 4 was still about Snake.
Yes.
Raiden just came into certain cutscenes. And again, playing that whole game, a bit of a hack and slash game, but you know, from start to finish, it was just like awesome. When you're playing it, you're thinking like, oh my god, this hard to describe. Just thought this is such a fucking awesome game, awesome characters doing awesome things. Cyborg Ninja. So every other game, and I really like the name Raiden.
Yeah.
I think it sounds really cool. I've used that name in many other things, kind of like I did with Sniper Wolf. If I have a new character on a game, I need to actually name the character. I won't just call it Lewis. I call it Raiden. I think it's a cool name. So I always chose Raiden. I bought Hot Toys Raiden. It's quite an expensive figure. I just think he looks cool, man. So I've got a bit of an obsession with Raiden, admittedly. But he's just an awesome character.
Cyborg Ninja.
Cyborg Ninjas for the win. But it could also just be Kratos. But Raiden. Yeah.
Right, let's finish off like we always do with your knowledge of all things Marvel Comics, because you are the best at it. So everyone knows the drill already.
Oh, I did have honourable mentions.
Put your honourable mentions.
Snake was an honourable mention.
Yep.
And Duke Nukem.
Oh, yeah.
Because Duke Nukem is a very quotable character.
I'd probably go Master Chief as a...
Yeah, I only played Halo 3.
Halo 3, yeah.
And I don't know how much of a character he has.
I get it.
He's more like a silent body that you're playing in. But Duke Nukem, obviously for this day and age, doesn't really fit because he's quite, bit
of a bastard.
Well, towards women,
yes,
I suppose.
Yeah.
Misogynistic and all that. But, anyway.
Right, top 5 is... I pick 5 cards on the top. I let you pick... Not top 5. The Challenge Lewis. Is... I pick 5 cards on the top of this pile. I shuffle them, let you pick one, then I ask you the questions. If you get all right, you're not stupid. If you get any wrong, you are a dum-dum. And if someone uses Lewis as a dum-dum anywhere on our social media, they get a mug.
I choose that one.
Lewis, you have chosen. You will be getting tested today on Captain Marvel. This is going to be
a bad one for you.
This is more than one set of cards. I will let you have one switch if you'd like to switch.
Yeah, we've already had Captain Marvel.
I mean, them questions look really hard, so...
Thank God.
Right. Pick another 5. Pick one, sir.
This one.
Lewis, this time you are going to be tested on...
Captain Marvel.
Iron Man.
Yay.
Who is Iron Man?
Tony Stark.
True or false, Iron Man was one of the founding members of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
No.
Correct, he wasn't.
Oh, you're so good.
Why does Tony Stark create his first set of Iron Man armour?
Because he's trapped inside of a cave and he needs to build a suit to escape and he blows everything up and he welds it all together himself.
That's correct. Maybe not as in depth. He builds a mechanized suit of armour to save his life and escape his captors. So you were very close. What are you laughing at?
My knowledge.
I'm so powerful.
I'm not a dum-dum.
Yet.
Screw you guys. You'll never get your cups. I'm saving us money.
Thank God. Right. Thank you everyone for listening once again.
Thanks,
I'll just say all the usual jazz. You can find us on any of our social media, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and any other things at A Nerd to the Wise. If, however, you are watching on YouTube or listening on YouTube, you can find links to our social media down below. And also, if you're listening to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave a review, download the episode, etc. We are looking good. So thank you, good night.
And God bless.